Dad of the Get Up Kids, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is.
Awful. Zero insight.
Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's go!
This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into a different band, different artists, and we break down one of their records. We get into the music, the lyrics, the artwork, how it was made, and everything in between. My name is Tyler, and way out there, hundreds of miles away, is Jeff. While you're listening, go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, give us 5 stars. All the social media is at Asinine Radio. Go follow us, share all the posts, tell all your friends. And yes, we are wrapping up Sad Boy season with the one and only The Cure. Obviously, because you read it in the title, we're doing the Head on the Door, and their 6th record. And yeah, The Cure, man, The Cure. What are we gonna do about this one? This has been quite the week. Sad Boy season in general has been underwhelming. Overall, it has been very underwhelming, right?
No.
I mean, outside of the albums of the week,
But
all the listening to everything, it's been pretty underwhelming. Come on.
With the Death Cab stuff, I kind of knew that. With the Dashboard stuff, I knew that. This I was looking forward to. So this was definitely super underwhelming. But like the Death Cab and Dashboard stuff, I knew like it wouldn't be anything compared to like the album of the week. So
See,
yeah.
I was the opposite. I was considering how popular transatlanticism is and, you know, the places you've come to fear the most. I thought at least there would be something more substantial in the rest of their discography. And certainly with The Cure, I thought it was, considering how popular and influential they are, I expected a lot more. It was very underwhelming. Not bad, but underwhelming. That's the word of the week. Like we mentioned on the album rankings, the word of the week.
Definitely.
So with The Cure, let's get into our origin story for this band. So what do you got? Go.
So like my cousin likes a lot of like this era of music, and I know she likes The Cure.
Cure.
I never really listened to him. I never listened to him actually at all. But my actual origin story to when I realized that they existed outside of just a concept was when I realized that the Get Up Kids song Close to Me was a cover of a Cure song. And I love the Get Up Kids. And so then I listened to the Cure's version and I was like, nah, pass. And then here we are today. And that's pretty much my entirety history with the Cure. Outside of a couple songs here and there. I really don't like Boys Don't Cry. I'm not a fan of that song at all.
Mm-hmm.
But there's probably like 5 or 6 Cure songs that I do really, really enjoy, including like 3 or 4 from this record, and then Just Like Heaven.
So
that's it.
You know, I don't really remember what the first time I heard The Cure. It might have been Just Like Heaven. Might have been early 2000s. You know, back then I was more into punk and metal, and this kind of music just did not resonate with me whatsoever. Not to say it's bad. It just did not resonate with me. And yeah, that, and then, you know, having Robert Smith on that Blink song, all of this. 311 did a cover of Love Song, which I think it's a good cover. Honestly, it's a good cover. And yeah, otherwise I didn't care about The Cure outside of a few of the singles. Even today, Boys Don't Cry. It's an okay song. Also the AFI song, The Hanging Garden, which I didn't even know was a Cure song until many, many years later. I just thought it was a random AFI song. But yeah, I don't know. I guess Just Like Heaven might be my origin story, but either way, never really heard anything outside of the singles until this week when we took that dive into all of their records, and more specifically this record, the album of the week. The Head on the Door. So, what are your first impressions on this one?
It is kind of funny because I played The Cure a lot this week at the store, and like everybody, like honestly, almost I would it's like over 90%. It was bizarre how it was pretty much everybody are just kind of duped into thinking The Cure is like the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's bizarre. And look, do you have The Cure? Do you have The Cure in vinyl? Do you have The Cure? I know it's so. And like, to be fair, it does sell fucking really, really fast, and we get it pretty often. Every couple of weeks, we get one in, but it'll sell within 24 hours. It's gone. Never like expensive either. It's not rare. It's just it goes fast. And do
you mainly get like newer pressings, or do you get older?
A little bit of everything.
Closer to OG pressings.
A little bit of everything. I haven't seen the first 3 records, and now that like I've seen all of their records. Like I know what I've seen in the wild too. And I've never even seen like their first 3 records. It's usually in like the record 4 to like 8 range. Like you see Wish a lot, you see the Album of the Week a lot. I've seen Disintegration a couple times, but I just
and a lot of comps. I always see a lot of comps.
Oh, they're all about the comps. Because comps has all their best songs on them.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
Like the one with the on the beach one, with the old guy's face on it. That's we actually have that one in the store now. It hasn't been priced yet. We'll put it out soon. So it was just funny to hear all these people like, oh, do you have The Cure? Do you have The Cure? And I'm just thinking like, dude, this band is just, what are you talking about? Like, why? But I get it. Like it scratches like a nostalgic itch. And if you were around at the time and this was part of your growing up, like that's why you like this. And there's a lot of things that I like because it was just around when I grew up, and it was just there. And I will make excuses for bad music. A lot of like third wave ska, like I was just there. It was around, and I like it. I acknowledge that it's bad, but I like it. But I think like people that like The Cure won't even acknowledge that like a lot of the shit fucking sounds the same. And it's not it's not even just that it sounds the same, but it sounds lazy sometimes. It's like, dude, you're literally just recycling melodies. Like ideas, concepts, album after album after album, and sometimes like it's really bad. Like some of the records they did in the 90s and like the mid 90s, like some of that alt rock stuff when that's dominating the airwaves, and they could have done something different. They could have done alt rock, but they chose like pop. And like, dude, you've already done good pop. This is not it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I was underwhelmed by the Album of the Week for sure. Especially because it's close to me, and close to me is like the one Cure song I know, like the back of my hand. I know it so well.
Yeah, it's I wouldn't say it's top 5, right? I would say top 5.
It is top 5
Cure songs popularity wise.
I have the most nostalgia with that song because of the Get Up Kids, so I know that song very, very, very well.
Yeah,
but even then, it's not as good as the Get Up Kids. Okay.
Yeah, and really the way we chose this record to do this week as the Album of the Week is because you and I talked about this actually today, or was it today?
It was today.
We decided on this record. Yeah, we decided to do this record today because we said, well, what are like, does this record sit in our top 2? Does this record sit in our top 2? And we agreed that this one did, and that's really the only reason why we did this. Not for any specific reason other than that. Once again, this is not a bad record. I have no stinkers on this one. I have 4 bangers. It's certainly not a bad record, but I'm never really going to go back to this one. And just, I pretty much agree with everything you just said too. I'm not going to repeat you, but
I have 4 bangers too.
4 bangers. They're probably the same, maybe the same order. Who knows?
All my 4 bangers are touching. So like they're all sequential, not like in order, but they're all at least touching.
Actually, I have 5 bangers. I'm sorry. Not 4.
Don't be sorry.
5. Well, okay. So what's your 1B? It has to be close to me, right?
Yeah, that's my 1B.
Okay, let's get into that. That's my 2B, by the way.
It's just, again, I have so much nostalgia with this. I never knew that it was a cover song because I like the Get Up Kids well before I even thought about The Cure. The Cure. You know what it is? It's like you sound like Donald Trump when you try and say The Cure, like The Cure, wrong, The Cure.
Yeah. That's still a bad Trump, man. That's a bad Trump.
But you get it. You know it.
I get it. No, I get it, but it's still a bad Trump. I got to call you out on that.
Wrong, The Cure. So So stupid.
Damn, dude, that's terrible.
I'm always gonna say The Cure now, just like that.
The
Cure. And when someone says, "What do you say like that?"
Cure.
That's like Donald Trump saying The Cure. The Cure. Wrong. So anyway, the Close to Me has a lot of nostalgia. The Get Up Kids released a B-side compilation in like 2000, 2001, 2002, and it had Close to Me on there, and it was on their comp Eudora. I have it on the vinyls because I love it, and I just never knew it was a fucking cover song until decades later, until like post high school, and then I was like, God damn, that's pretty cool. And so now whenever I listen to the Get Up Kids version on various playlists, I inevitably will go back to like the Cure version and listen to it, and it just, I think it's mostly nostalgia, but I also think dude, the Get Up Kids version is just objectively better. It really is. Like every part of it, it just took the Cure's version and just made it a little bit better.
That's a bold statement. That's a very, very bold statement.
And I mean, it's also funny too, because like the Get Up Kids were highly influenced by the Cure. And so I get it. It's just, I love the Get Up Kids. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's what it is.
Awful. Zero insight.
That's good.
Oh my god.
That's good.
I feel like I'm gonna be saying that a lot because it's so fucking stupid. So, just a little background here. Some dumb shit fucking commented on our Fugazi episode that we did years ago. And the only comment they left was awful, period, zero insight. And it was just like, shut the fuck up, you douchebag. Like, of all the episodes to comment on and listen to, you fucking do that on Fugazi. Of course it's Fugazi. But yeah, so yeah, fuck that guy. That bitch.
Good thing he didn't hear to our fucking Tool episode. Otherwise you would have hated that one too.
I know. All right. So yeah, Close to Me. This is my 2B. I know it because it is a single. I've heard it so many times on the radio or wherever. It's just kind of around. Also, did Fatboy Slim sample this song on Weapon of Choice? You know that the like xylophone part? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't think so. What's the that part?
No, it's that bum bum bum. Just those three notes on the xylophone. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. You know, like in the beginning of Weapon of Choice when Christopher Walken's head is like going back and forth when those notes are hit.
I mean, it's like that.
I feel like it's similar, or it might be a sample. I don't know.
Maybe I don't think so because Bootsy Collins played bass on that one, so I don't think Bootsy Collins knew who the fucking Cure was. Maybe he did. I don't know.
But Bootsy Collins is a bass player.
Yeah, but like, he helped write that song.
Yeah, but he could still sample something.
Yeah, but I feel like it would be more like R&B and funk focus rather than like the Cure. The Cure.
It's possible. Yeah, the Cure.
But I get
it's
it. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, I just think of the beginning of that video where his head like twitches back and forth every time that those notes hit. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do know. Yes. No,
okay,
I know exactly the part you're talking about. I know the sound, what it sounds like. I know. I get it.
Okay, good. Yeah, I don't know. What I like about this song too is that the way the way he plays the synth, the way he layers the synth, like he does like a rhythm part of it. He plays the synth like it's a guitar. Like he has the rhythm part of it and he has the lead part of it. It's so simple. It's so basic. And Robert Smith, I don't think he's particularly good at anything, but he knows how to like write a good song and knows how to make a very textured, big sounding song. And this is an example of that. His use of the synth was really, really well done. That bass line too is so fucking killer. And it's so goddamn catchy. I think this is a fantastic song. I'm not going to say that the Get Up Kids is better, but this is a great song.
It's okay if you say it. That's fine. It is. I think it's better.
I don't think it's better. I also don't have the nostalgia that you do, but whatever.
Oh my God.
The original version's better. Close to Me is better.
Oh, would you ever be? And you can hear him panting in the background. He was like, so close to me.
Oh, he's so dramatic.
Yeah.
I was reading something too about how he said he agrees that he's not a very good vocalist, which yeah, obviously. But he said that they went through like 5 or 6 different singers at the very beginning of this band, and all he thought about was like, oh, I could do that better. I could do that. I could do it better than them. I'm not good, but I could do it better than them. And that's pretty much why he's the singer of the band. He just kind of like pushed his way as the front man. Like he started as like a background piano player, and they just kind of like made his way to being the front man and the sole songwriter and lyricist to this band.
Yeah.
It's cool, but
let's get one thing like straight here, right? Like he didn't just fall into the Cure. Like he's a kind of a classically trained guitarist who knows how to write songs, who takes a lot of time and effort into writing and crafting his songs and his music. So kind of like the hodgepodge persona that he puts on, it's not really true. He's never like denied it or anything, but he kind of puts on this persona of like, anybody can write songs, anybody can do what I do. It's so easy. And it's like, dude, you put like a lot of effort into it, and you were like, you took a lot of lessons to get into like where you're at now.
Well, I wouldn't say a lot of lessons.
He took lessons from like a prodigy from like who took lessons from a really, really, really good classical guitarist.
Yeah. When he was 9 years old, I forgot. I think it was John. It was a guy named John Williams, to be confused with the composer John Williams.
Dude, anybody named John Williams is just going to do great things. That's true. It seems like a fact.
Yeah, but apparently
somebody terrible named John Williams.
Robert Smith said that he quit taking lessons after, I think it was like 2 years or something, because it just wasn't fun for him anymore. And then he started to learn how to play by ear. But he said he could still read music and play music, but it's just not fun for him. But he could still do it. And I didn't know this, but I thought it was interesting. Interesting, right?
Yeah. That's interesting.
That the reason why he started playing guitar was because his sister, because they both played piano, him and his sister, but his sister was like a prodigy, and she was too good. So he felt like he couldn't compare, so he decided to pick up the guitar because she wasn't able to wrap her hands around the frets or the neck.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a fun little story.
Which again, it's like, dude, if your family has, I don't know, the drive or the income level or whatever it is to put both of your kids in like music classes early on, and one of them is like really, really, really fucking good at one thing, and the other one is Robert Smith, then like it's a musical family, right? So like something is going on, something is getting nurtured, something is getting, the seeds have been planted and it's getting watered somewhere. And so I don't know. I just see like these kind of kids just think like, oh, I can do that too. I can pick up a guitar and be the Cure. And it's just like, no, man, like, nah. Not that he's great or anything, but like, nah. And so when he thinks, when he says things like, I can do that better, he doesn't actually think he can do that better. What he is actually verbalizing, he's saying, I can take control of that. I can do that and just make it all me. I can take control of that. Oh, he's singing this way. I know I sound like shit, but I can make my voice interesting enough because Susie and the Banshees were already doing it, and I can just take control of that. And so when I think of like the Cure as like a new wave band, like they're not like my favorite, not even like a top 5 for me. When I think of the Cure being like in the forefront of like the post-punk realm, like yes, they're there. But like I'll take Joy Division over this. I'll take Susie and the Banshees over this any day of the week. Like there's really nothing about this band that I think is super, super endearing other than the fact that they're just super like melancholy.
Yeah.
And it just happens to be like they were very influential to a lot of bands that I love, that we love. But it's happenstance at best.
Yeah, and they appeal to the teenage angst, both of girls and boys. He speaks to them the way the music, he plays the music, he writes the music. The lyrics are they're not as deep as I was expecting, but actually going back to Susie and the Banshees,
dude, their first record, Scream, is fucking amazing. That's a good record.
I know I've heard it, but I don't remember anything from it. And what I didn't know, I didn't even know that Robert Smith ever played in the band, that he played on one of their records. He toured with them. He was a member of that band for a short while in the 80s, after like the 3rd or 4th Cure record.
He's a huge fanboy.
And he has said, and what's the guitarist, Severus Snape? What's the guitarist? Whatever. He said that had Robert not been in Susie and the Banshees for that tour, the Cure would not have made records post like pornography. Like that, like it's. I guess like he was so inspired by Susie Sue that he started to to be a frontman just like she was. You know what I mean? Like he was so inspired by her. And I thought that was fascinating. Like you're 3-4 records into your career and you're already massive. And then you're so inspired that you kind of changed trajectory, which I thought was super rad. But even still, Susie and the Banshees, I think they might be better than The Cure. I don't know.
Dude, their first record's fucking really, really good. Like it's vinyl worthy good. It's solid. It's just like
I got to go back and listen to it.
It's just it's a good, perfect representation of like late 70s post punk. Like that's it. Like besides like Public Image and then like Joy Division, but like Joy Division was a couple years after, and The Cure, it's Susie and the Banshees. It's perfect. It's a great record.
Perfect. Okay.
And like Sonic Youth is there, but that was like the 80s, and God, man, Sonic Youth, man, fuck.
I don't get
band.
Sonic Youth. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Dude, Sonic Youth is a band where like a song will happen, right? And then like for the first like 75% of that song, you think, holy shit, this is amazing. There's a really good groove here. It's melodic. It's going somewhere. And then they just start screaming and like throwing their guitars on the floor and stomping on them. It's like, cool. Well,
Team Death Machine style.
That's dope. Yeah, except like Team Death Machine didn't take themselves seriously.
Oh man, that's a deep cut.
Yeah, dude, check out The Scream by Susie and the Banshees. Good record.
I'll check it out. Should we put it on the to-do list?
That would be actually really cool. I thought about, I mean, The Cure just ended Sad Boy season, but like if we got into like a post-punk thing, then like Susie and the Banshees for sure, The Scream would be there.
But who else would we put into if we went into like a post-punk season, who else would be on it?
Oh, it'd have to be Susie and the Banshees. It'd have to be Joy Division. I think probably like Public Image would be there because Public Image, right? Like we're talking Johnny Rotten, but we're talking like the bridge from punk to post-punk. But like that's got to be done. It's got to be done because he did both.
But then it's all like Britland people. You know what I mean? Britland bands.
Yeah, and that's what are you gonna do?
That's true. So what do you have lyrically on Close to Me?
I read somewhere Robert said at one point this is like acting like you're going to get like a shit ton of stuff done right in a day and accomplish something, but then like you realize at the end of the day you didn't do shit, and then you realize that tomorrow is going to be the exact same thing. and I've never even thought about the lyrics because I've always just sang them when I hear the Get Up Kids version, and I've always just assumed it was about like a person like physically getting someone close to them, but I guess it makes sense. I do. So we talked about it like in Dashboard episode and kind of the Ben Gibbard and Death Cab episode, where I like when artists give you inspiration for their songs, but not the meaning of their songs. And Robert does that shit a lot. He says, "Here is what I was doing while I wrote this song," and they'll say, "Well, what's the song about?" Nah, here's what I was doing when I wrote this song. I like that. That's cool. Like, you don't need to be spoon-fed every fucking, things are so subjective. And even the artists half the time don't know what the fuck they're doing. They just write. They just like dogs. They just do. And I like that. I dig that.
Yeah. I mean, I do like that as well. It gives it makes it more ambiguous and leaves it more up to interpretation. But even then, I don't think his lyrics are amazing. They're fine. They're okay. Out of the three sad boy bands that we've done this season, Chris Krabba has been by far the best. His lyrics were way, way better than everything that Ben Gibbard's done, or at least on Transatlanticism and things on this record.
Oh, damn, son.
But you agree, right?
You saying things right now.
But I'm not wrong, right?
Okay, so what you said was that Chris Krabba was better than anything Ben Gibbard's ever done. That's what you said. I said
on Transatlanticism.
On Transatlanticism, okay. No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, you're wrong. And it's crazy that you don't agree with that because you love Chris Krabba.
I do love Chris Krabba.
He's your boy. He's your boy.
Literally the reason why I even started like playing guitar. It's wild to even think about that. But I think what Chris did was just it was earnest. He's an earnest man.
And you need that
straight from the heart, straight from the cuff. There was no frills, and that was the whole stripped down Dashboard thing.
No, his wordplay was way better than what Robert Smith does. Robert Smith, he's too ambiguous. He's too.
You got to give him a little a little credit because it's just like we haven't had time to refine this craft, right? Like we're just
he's 6 albums deep.
Yeah, but we're coming off. But like the Cure,
6 albums
the
deep.
Cure in general, the Cure in general, the Cure in general. We're coming off like punk, right? Like we're late 70s here. The Cure is forming. The whole world wants more. This is
1986 though, Jeff.
The whole world wants more punk. So the Cure is forming. They're not really hitting their stride till like the 3rd album, their 4th album. That's, like 82, 83. Yes, this is 86. But by now, everybody and their mother has already done this, and they're doing it better, and they're doing it more weird and more quirky. I love the B-52s. B-52s came out like late 70s. They did it better. They did it more quirky. But I respect the Cure for doing it. Doing it the same, but just refining that. A lot of other people, even like Susie and the Banshees, they kind of diverted. I'm not a huge fan of Joy Division, so I don't know all of their stuff outside of their first record. I think they only have 2 records, actually. So
yeah, I think it's 2.
I just think that
you might be thinking of New Order. Right? New Order came out of Joy Division?
I'm not even going to include that band in anything. It's a silly band. But didn't you say that what did you say about New Order? That was so. I gotta put that in the fucking things you're so dumb about.
I said the Orgy version of Blue Monday is better than the New Order version.
Oh, that goes,
and I stand by it.
That goes in the shit that Tyler is so wrong about. That's silly boy talk.
And I was wrong about the release date of this record. It's 1985, not 1986. So
like, that's not even a question. Who cares?
I still wanted to go back just in case somebody was thinking that we have zero insight.
It probably that fucker who said, "Oh, zero insight." Yeah, like you just did.
Awful. Zero insight.
Awful. Don't even know the dates of the releases. Wrong. That's my Trump. It's a terrible Trump.
Fucking dumb shit. Not you, but that guy.
So I'm not a dumb shit. That was nice.
Well, close. So close to me. To me, I think this is about his anxiety. How he's like almost bedridden by his anxiety. He, much like you, I agree with you where he doesn't want to go out. He just sees the days as just one after the other. Nothing changes. But the only thing that makes him feel better is the girl that he's in love with. He wishes that he could be more like her. She makes him feel so much better when she's with him, when she's by his side. It's the only thing that can get him up and moving and out of bed. So that's what I have lyrically on this one.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. That's all I got for this episode.
Dude, even the Get Up Kids version, like the drum beat's so good. When the mood comes in, it's just like it's just a better, more aggressive like synth sound.
I mean, I guess, but I mean, that's so the style that you like. You like this more pop punk kind of thing. It makes sense that you like it more. You're not a Cureman, you're a Get Up Kidman. So, another thing, real quick too, about this record, just about the people who played on the record. Simon Gallup, who played on several of the records prior to this, left the band because him and Robert Smith got in a bar fight. Simon's back on bass, killer bass player. Honestly, he really is a great bass player.
The only person that we need to even mention in this band throughout its entirety is Robert Smith, and then Simon. That is it.
And Simon.
Who gives a fuck about anybody else?
Boris, I just gotta say it. Boris Williams, first time he played drums on a Cure record was on this one, and Porl Thompson, he played a bunch of different instruments. Which there are a lot of things going on this record. A lot of different percussive instruments.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
But it adds a lot of cool textures and nuance to these songs.
It doesn't make them like great. It just makes them all good songwriters together.
But you can't discount the songs
because Robert Smith.
Can't discount the songs.
I'm not discounting the song. I'm discounting the musician because Robert Smith is producing this one, and so we don't know that Robert Smith is. We do know that our boy Bobby there is very hands on, very controlling, and even the best solo that the Cure maybe has ever done is on this record, and it's by Bobby, our boy Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
And I even looked it up, and I was like, I wonder who fucking did that. But it's like, come on, dude, the guy's like a classic. He was trained in classical guitar. Clearly, it's him.
Yeah. Why are you calling him Bobby? It's so annoying.
That's his name, dude. Bobby Smith.
So annoying.
He probably hates that too.
Oh shit! I have never ever seen what Bobby looks like without makeup on, and. Wow, what an improvement. I mean, I know the makeup was done intentionally to make him look ugly and sad boy and everything, but he looks so fucking different without that shitty makeup on. Even now, like as an older guy,
looks like a normal person.
He looks so normal. Like, wow. Just I've always thought how ugly Robert Smith looks. Like, just he's a hideous person.
Yeah.
But yeah, without the makeup, wow, he's like when he was younger, he was like a good-looking guy. I mean, yeah, he's old now, but he looks so normal now. I would never recognize him on the street. I would never.
I would not. I would never either.
Yeah, so I thought that was a fun little thing to talk about, I guess. I don't know.
That was fun. I had a good time.
Yeah, great times. Fun times. Anyway, 0-2. All right, my number, are we good with Close to Me?
Yeah. Just out of curiosity. But my numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, in no order, are the songs 4, 5, 6, 7.
I don't know what mine are.
How you don't?
No. Mine aren't. No.
Okay. They're all squished. All my 4 bangers are right in the middle of the album.
So that's wrong. So my number 1 is the song Push. That is my number 1. Is this a banger at all for you?
I just told you it was a banger. 4, 5, 6, 7. Those are my 4 bangers.
I don't have them numbered, so I don't know which ones are 4, 5, 6, 7. 3B. Okay, good. I'm glad. Yeah. I'm glad. So what do you have on this one?
I mean, it's the most like instrumental driven song on the record. So.
I know. That's why I like it so much.
So I will say I get some pretty heavy Killers vibes here. And Killers, another band heavily influenced by the Cure, but I definitely get some heavy Killers vibe on the song.
Especially that guitar riff, man. That main guitar, not a riff, but that main guitar line is very Cures-esque. And until this week, I've known about this song for years, but I never ever knew it was The Cure until this week, and I was blown away. So there's this radio program, or this on KFI. There was this one guy who used to be on KFI, and I've listened to him for at least over 10 years now. And he would always use, as a bumper back into the show, he would always use this song, but just that main guitar line, that 15 seconds. And I've always loved it. And I always thought it was so cool, but I never just thought about looking up who it was. And then when I heard it, I got this like stupid, weird nostalgia of that bumper. And I just could not believe that this is actually The Cure. It doesn't even sound like The Cure. It's way too happy and upbeat, and just musically, it's way too happy for The Cure. It's weird. It's out of character for this band, especially in the 80s. But I just love that main guitar line. It's fucking fantastic.
It's good. It's good.
It's good.
I like it.
It's good.
It's again, it's mostly instrumental. But even when he does start like singing, it's like this yelly thing. Like he's yelling first and kind of just yelling the notes and then just matching the vibe. And then he starts to sing. But when he starts to sing, it's not like he's taking over the song like he normally does. It's that he's adding to the song. He's adding just a lead guitar part. He's adding like a piano part, but he's adding a vocal part. It's just a layer. And that's nice.
Yep.
Because it's like a jam.
I do like
a jam song. And he's adding a jam part.
It's so fucking good. I mean, the vocals don't even come in until halfway through the song. The song is like 4.5 minutes long, almost 5 minutes long. And yeah, halfway through, you it's just instrumental. And what's really cool about the structure of the song too is that it starts and ends the exact same way. It starts with that main guitar line with kind of like just the big drum, the big hits on the drums, the bass, the little bit minimal bass, and then it builds a little bit, and then it drops down, builds. The vocals come in, and then it, like I said, it ends the same way it begins, with just the main guitar line with those big drum hits at the end too. It's just a solid fucking song. It's a great song. I love it.
Song. It's a good
Playlisted it. I love this song. This is top 3. It's just like Heaven, Us or Them, and this song Push. Top 3.
Damn, son.
Top 3 Cure songs right here.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I said it. I don't give a fuck.
There
Also,
are things there.
The bass on this one is it's beefy. It's a beefy sounding bass. That's like the best way I could describe that tone, that sound. It's good.
Like I'm not gonna sit here and say that like Simon Gallup is like the greatest bass player of all time, that he's technically and he's proficient. I just think that he honed in a sound, that he owned in like almost a persona for this band, because this band would not be where they are without that low end. And you can just throw anybody there and it'll be fine. but the way he plays what he plays is great, and how it sounds as he's playing what he plays is like even better. His tone is dirty. It's weird.
It's nasty, yeah.
And I get why some of our audience likes the Cure a lot, because dude, like, it's a good bass tone, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
like,
totally.
I get like why even like Mark Hoppus like adores his band, because if you're a bass player in your mind and you want to get better, you listen to the Cure and you're like, oh, that's a cool fucking tone. And then you listen to like other things, right? The other proficient, great bass players, and think that's how I want to play, but this is how I want to sound.
Mm.
And that pursuit of tone is just as important.
And I like that he's not a one trick pony. He changes it up between songs. Like there are some songs where he just plays a loop through pretty much the entire song. There are parts where he kind of like funks it up a little bit. There are also songs where it's super fucking gritty and it's nasty fucking tone, and it really just drives and kind of trudges the song along. I mean, I like how he's all over the place, but in all of the best ways. He, like you said, Simon and Robert and Bobby are it's so dumb. Are the best parts of this record. From a musical side, instrumental side.
And he definitely kind of like attaches himself to the less is more aesthetic, where especially with the Cure, where things are just so kind of like slow and somber, and when things are kind of like sad, you tend to slow things down, and so you don't need to hit like octaves, and you don't need to do scales. You just like less is more, and so when you're only hitting
more is more,
and when you're only hitting like a small amount of notes, those notes need to mean something. So why do like a stereotypical distortion or echo or whatever you're gonna do? Make it unique, make it your own, make it iconic. And I like the dedication to the craft. That's what I like.
I do too. What I thought kind of annoying about this band is that, like, Robert Smith, like in retrospect, he's said that he wrote everything, the bass lines, this and that. I understand, like, on some of the records he played or at least one record he played all the instruments on, which whatever, that's fine, he did. But to take credit for everything, especially on some of these earlier records, come on, man. Like, why is that when Simon wasn't in the band, they were less bass driven or whatever it may be? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, it's just unfair, and I think it just shows Bobby's arrogance a little bit.
Yes.
And that's frustrating. It really does.
And if you want this to be Bobby's band, then like don't. God, I don't know. I guess he's never really pretended otherwise, but it is. It's Bobby's band, and he does everything, and he's a whiner. So whatever.
Oh man, you know what I thought was kind of like, reading kind of through their history. I think it was like in 2008 or something like that, or 2009. He fired like two of the guys in the band who had been playing in the band for over 20 years. And he didn't even tell them. These two guys, I think maybe it was just one of them, but either way, they found out online. Like somebody posted like a bulletin on MySpace, saying that the Cure were going on tour. The Cure were going on tour, but the band members didn't even know, and they were done. They were fired. They were gone. It's like, come on, man. It's such a douche thing to do. I hate that shit.
Well, he's a whiner.
He's a whiner. Maybe emotionally underdeveloped.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
I mean, yes, I know he did a lot of drugs. He, drinking a lot.
Does
all
drugs
that kind of
back. Get the hell.
Back then,
everybody's
yes,
doing drugs
I
back
know.
then.
I know.
I was doing drugs back then. Jesus.
Yeah.
84.
Anyway,
or
what do you have
now?
lyrically
85? Yeah.
What?
No, go ahead. Push. He said that
Lyrically.
So he said, Robert said, Bobby said, this was when he got drunk one night at his old childhood house, and he went to his old room, and it just like everything just seemed so small, and he wrote the song. That's like the inspiration for the song. He's also said, though, like in the intros to live performances, that it was his experience riding the subway in a dress and how he was treated.
Okay.
So that's what we got here.
My view on it. So that thing about, going back to his childhood bedroom and everything like that, that's only in the last like I guess verse or the outro of the song. So my thought on this is overall the song is about a girl that he really loves, that he really likes, but he's too afraid to say something to her. He's shy and very, very awkward around her and never says anything. He goes the rest of his life never saying anything to her. And he forgets about all this, but when he goes back to his childhood bedroom, it all comes back to him. Like all that nostalgia comes back because now he's laying in his childhood bed, he goes back to his room and thinks, oh my God, I forgot about this girl. And then the nostalgia hits. And I feel like that's what the song is about. It's about him remembering this girl when he was like a teenager or a kid, whatever. That's what I feel. That's how I feel about this song, or that's what I think the song is about.
It is interesting how we will praise like Tom and Mark for writing just the same love song over and over because that's what they do best.
Yeah.
But then when like Bobby does it, it's kind of just like, I don't want to hear another fucking love song.
Well, the thing with Bobby is that, like we said, I mean, The Cure kind of, for the most part, a one-trick pony. It's like 70% moody kind of stuff, nothing really that different, and 30% the weird, not the weird, but like the Indian influences, the surf stuff, the random
it's
stuff
not even
like that.
Good. Like they barely scratch the surface on that stuff, and it's fucking pathetic. Like the Kyoto song, dude, that song was stupid on this record. that was borderline stinker for me.
Borderline stinker. But I mean, I think everybody can agree that a Blink song, the best Blink songs are way catchier than the best Cure songs. Come on.
Yes.
Like I don't give a fuck what people like, Cure knuckleheads, they won't agree with that, but they're just biased. They're I don't know what they are. They're knuckleheads.
And again, just because like a band is influenced by another band does not make that original band better at all.
Yes.
And this is a prime example. All of these bands there's so many bands that we love that are influenced by The Cure, and a lot of them are better than the Cure.
That is correct, especially Blink.
Especially Blink.
Speaking of bands who were inspired by The Cure, did you go and listen or watch when Robert Smith was on Korn's Unplugged in 2007?
I did go back and watch that.
You did?
No, I didn't watch that.
Oh, you didn't?
You got really excited. I felt bad there. So I did not watch that.
No, it's terrible. You would have loved it because it's terrible.
Oh God.
But yeah, he sang "Make Me Bad" with Korn, and then they did, I forgot what Cure song. They did like half of "Make Me Bad" and then that transitioned into a Cure song. But yeah, I don't remember what it was. But it's fucking dumb, dude. It's stupid. But Korn is another one of those bands. Like Jonathan Davis loves Robert Smith and The Cure.
Dude, your boys from the Deftones love The Cure.
Love The Cure.
There's so many walks of life that
AFI
that love this band, but that's fine. Like it's inspiration, but you don't always have to sound like your inspiration. You can be inspired by something, but not like sound like something, and that's fine. I get it, and you can do things better.
Out of like the bands we mentioned, Blink, AFI, Korn. Just Deftones.
Hey, your boy Billy Corgan loves The Cure.
Billy Corgan, yes. No, yeah, definitely Billy Corgan. I feel like the band that I hear take the most inspiration from is AFI. Like post Sing the Sorrow AFI. I hear so much of The Cure in those songs, in those albums. I mean, it's crazy how much he tries to sound like Robert Smith and play like Robert Smith. It's wild. But you do hear some hints of it in some of the heavier bands like Deftones and Korn. Push is my number one.
Push it.
I just listened to that record yesterday, by the way.
They do?
Great record.
That's a good record.
Yeah, I did. Wisconsin Death Trip, yeah. What do you got for your... Did you say your 2? I don't think you did, right?
That was my 2. No, that was my 3.
Oh, Push was your 3. What's your 2?
The Baby Screams.
That's my 3B. Look at that. We're
1, 2,
we're
3.
the same, kind of.
1, 2, 3, come with me, because you look so fun. That way, want make my...
God,
The
I
Baby
really
Screams.
don't like that song anymore. Yeah.
I mean, like, this one's all about that bass line, right? Like, that's what we're getting
all about
at
that
here.
bass.
All about that, dude. Meghan Trainor. Good songs.
That song's so
good pop music.
That song's so good.
This is a killer bass line, but also how
Yeah.
deeply layered this guitar is. The guitar is fucking buried so deep, and all it's doing is just something so stupid. It's doing this like low thing where it's not even really note matching. It's just kind of on its own, but it finds itself towards the end of the verses and then leads back into the chorus. It's a really, really, really good guitar part. And then like the high end is Robert, our boy Bobby. Bobby's the high end, and like the lead guitar will later come in with some high parts too. But this is really about like the bass line. The driving bass line is what makes this song great.
And it's looped. It's a looped bass line for the most part. It's a faster song. It's a very funky guitar line too that he plays, like in the beginning that it starts off the song, that he plays throughout the song as well. Super funky. But that bass line, does it sound familiar to you? I know I've heard it, but I cannot place it. Do you know?
No, I've been like,
God, it sounds so familiar.
For whatever reason, I don't know if it's just in my mind, but like that bass line from Circus Survive, I can't, I don't remember exactly what song it is. In Fear and Faith, maybe that do 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 do, like however like that bass line went.
I think it's Fear and Faith. Yeah,
that's what jogged like my memory for this one. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool because it kind of sounds the same, even though Circus Survive is a lot more lower, certainly. And it's not as aggressive because this bass line's very aggressive.
Yeah,
it's just that's what I was reminded of. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it is Circus Survive then. But yeah, I was racking my brain all day today trying to figure out what that bass line is from, or what band, like, I don't want to say lifted, but took inspiration from that, because it sounds so familiar. Familial. Wow, familial. What am I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. And also, I do like Robert's vocals a lot on here. He's there's some whiny wails that he does on here, and it's something you don't hear him do a lot of until The Cure's The Cure, the Ross Robinson one. I feel like he's really kind of pushing his vocals. He's doing something a little out of the ordinary with his vocals, which is so cool. Like come on, man, just be a little bit more experimental. Don't be so down and out with the music. Like, just have some more passion. And that's what I feel like there parts of the song really has, and that's why it's ranked as high as it is. It's a surprise banger, honestly. This is one of the songs where nothing else sounds like this song. It's very, very different.
Yeah.
But
it's a little weird for the album.
What do you have lyrically on this one?
I think it's a track just to be negative. It's just a negative track. But I like the usage of like baby screams here, right? Because he's talking about like I like baby screams, and I like when people say shit like oh, I need a new husband, like I need a shotgun to the face. Like, have you heard people say like a shotgun to the face? That analogy,
yeah.
Dude, that makes me laugh every single time I hear somebody say it, because it's so
why?
Because it's so aggressive and it's so stupid.
It is.
And so I think he's doing that same thing but with baby screams, because like, nobody fucking likes the baby screaming. Nobody likes that shit. Annoying. It's irritating.
It is.
Fuck that shit. Shut him up.
So I think lyrically he's talking about being really depressed, and the only time that he feels happy is when he's sleeping and dreaming, which is just so, it's so emo. It's so sad boy right there. Come on, man. That's what I think the lyrics are about. But once again, not the deepest stuff, but I get why people in their teens love this kind of music and love the lyrics on this record. So yeah,
highly
that's all I got on Baby Screams.
It's not the best.
Agreed. So what do you have? Oh man, we did our top three.
I only got one more B. I got one more B, and then I have two more things that I would like to talk about that are not my Bs.
What's your other B?
6 Different Ways. That's my 4B.
That's not a B for me, but let's get into it.
Oh, I like the piano. Piano's choppy. It messes with the beat. Drumming stays busy. But there's a lot of pomp and circumstance with it. There's a lot of fluff. But I think overall it's catchy. And I think the bass just plays very, very well with the piano sound.
So I think I know why you like this song a lot. It's because it's in your favorite time signature. It's in 6/8.
It's so stupid. And like that's literally
man.
That's what the song is. It's just like our boy Bobby got so excited that a drummer could play in 6/8, so they wrote a song with a bunch of sixes in it, and that's what happened here. But like this really is kind of like a jammy type song, just like a lot of vocals.
Yeah. It is a cool song. And lyrically I couldn't figure out what he was trying to talk about. I mean, maybe it was about him like shielding himself from letting people inside and letting people know how he feels and his emotions because he's just been hurt too many times. But maybe that could go along with the music. I don't know. It's just it is a quirky song. I think that's the best way I could describe this song is that it's quirky and very happy.
He's just like
and
an
what
emo
did he describe
dude.
this as?
And everything that happens, everything he spits out is just going to have this underlying theme of just sadness. But like he just got excited that they got a drummer and they got a bunch of people in their band that could like jam. And so they wanted to do something in 6/8 because it's so abstract. And then he wrote a song with like the theme of just sixes.
Some Danny Carey level shit right there, right?
Yeah.
And apparently with this song too, from what I was reading, the piano part that was in this song, Robert Smith had actually or Bobby had used that piano part on a Susie and the Banshees song, on the song Swimming Horses. So he kind of lifted it from a song he already wrote, or co-wrote, I should say. It's a fun little fact there. But this is also kind of one of the outliers. In the end, like the last 3 tracks on here are just, they're forgettable. They're just more of the same of what you heard.
Yes.
But everything prior to that, everything is kind of has their own identity, and you can really tell them apart from one another, which is cool. And this is one of those examples. I just don't think it's a banger, but it definitely stands out from the rest of the record, which is rad. I
would like venture even to go further and say that the last 3 tracks, like A Night Like This, I think it's tough to follow close to me, and this is just too much Robert there, and I think that is totally forgettable. But Screw and Sinking for sure are completely forgettable.
Yeah, really just generic songs. I mean, Screw has that super fuzzed out bass line, which is actually really good, but outside of that, I mean, it has that like 80s new wave sounding,
dumb 80s new wave song.
Oh, that electronic drum sound.
Really, it's like it's a dumb 80s new wave song that doesn't have any of the excitement that Devo brings.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and then just Sinking is just completely forgettable. It's not bad, just forgettable. More and more of the same. And the same with A Night Like This. I agree. Yeah, the last 3 songs, just don't care. And that was a single too. A Night Like This, that was a single. I don't remember ever hearing that song prior to this week.
Same.
Ever. But I don't know. What do we got? So do we have anything else on 6 Different Ways?
Nah.
No. I mean, I don't really care to talk about my other 2 bangers unless you really want to.
We only have 3 songs left. I have notes for them, so we can just run through them real quick. Might as well go through them. Let's go.
So The Blood is my number 4.
Okay.
We can just run through this real quick.
The Blood has like my favorite lyric, or I guess my favorite like stanza on the entire record. I like that, so that's fun.
This is a very upbeat song. It has that like flamenco feel with the guitar parts. There's these little percussive things that are thrown in there too, like a nice little like nuanced texture kind of addition to the song, which is cool. The bass comes in thick and really fills in where the guitar is lacking, sonically and sound wise. Nothing too wonky on this one. I do like that little acoustic guitar solo on this one. That's pretty cool.
And that's gotta be Robert.
Bobby vocals.
That's gotta be Bobby.
Yeah, I would think so.
Has to be. Dude, that's his MO, right? John Williams, a classical guitarist who was really, really, really fucking good, and his protege taught Bobby how to play guitar. That has to be Bobby.
Yeah, and also, so this song, according to Bobby, the song was inspired by a Portuguese wine named Tears of Christ. He drank a bottle of it, and he wrote the song, and he was inspired by flamenco guitar. And so yeah, this is 100% Bobby, like through and through. This is all him.
I thought the intro to this, it reminded me a lot of Master Exploder. That
yes, exactly.
I love that so much.
That's perfect. Yeah, and then lyrically, I just have he's reminiscing of a past love and how he's never gonna stop loving her. So
Dude, I will say, okay, so I'll read you this verse and then I'll read you why I love it so much because I thought it was pretty fucking good. Pretty freaking good.
Freaking good.
The second verse, same as the first, just kidding. He says, how it feels to be dry, walking bare in the sun. Every mirage I see is a mirage of you. As I cool in the twilight, taste the salt of my skin. I recall all the tears, all the broken words. So there's that, right? But like,
it's a good verse.
But in this verse, he's building this world here. He's giving the image of like a post breakup, walking around in a desert aimlessly because of lost love. And as the night comes, which like should like metaphorically be like the closing of that chapter, right? The night comes before the dawn, and then we start a new day. Like he finally tastes a salty sweat because he's been walking all day. And like sometimes when it's too hot, you just don't fucking sweat. Your body has no moisture in it. So when the night hits and your body can actually sweat. And then like now he's tasting the saltiness of a sweat, which reminds him of the tears, which like brings up all these like fucking open wounds. And he just starts it all over again. And I thought that was a good verse, man. Like you did good on that one. I like that one.
I like that breakdown. I didn't pick up on that, but that's a good breakdown of it. Very good breakdown.
I dug that one. That's about it, though.
Good.
That was like the only real verse that I really, really, truly liked.
So yeah, there's only 2 songs we haven't talked about. Kyoto song is my 5B. I hated it.
This song's stupid,
it was
dude.
A borderline stinker, but I just loved it because it was a little bit different. It was weird. It was quirky. It was kind of dumb, but it was fun.
They literally said that this is them trying to get Oriental with their music.
I know.
That's fucking dumb. Not just because they're using that word that we still don't know if it's even appropriate to even use, but like really, you're trying to get Oriental with your music, and like this is what you come up with, the most basic fucking bare bones bottom of the barrel thing possible. Nah, dumb.
I know. It's just what is that? Is it like is it a guitar that Oriental sounding kind of lead part? Is that a guitar playing over that flamenco style acoustic guitar?
I don't know what it is. I thought it was like maybe some type of like modulated. Honestly, it sounded like almost like a modulated vibraphone or something, like something like that. I don't know what it is, but like the only thing worse that they could have done is do that like ding 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 like that. That's the only thing worse they could have done. Like when you incorporate that into your music, you've lost all credibility.
God, unless like Martin Denny does it. Yeah,
that's true. Because it was like 75 years ago. It was acceptable in music, but
God, that's terrible to think that was 75 years ago. Or so long. No, it's not 75 years ago. Oh,
right? His first record was like 50 something.
59. So yeah, 66 years, 65 years ago. Yeah,
65 years ago for dramatic effect. 75 is not unreasonable.
Yeah, that's on. Yeah, you're right. God, that's crazy.
That's a long time ago.
God damn, man. The 1960s feel like it was yesterday. I mean, we were just hanging out back then. But
dude, I love when old people come into the store and be like, "Do you have any music from like 30, 40 years ago?" I'm like, "Bro, I know you don't listen to music from the 80s or the 90s." What you mean to say is like 50s and 60s because you still think it's like 1990 or something.
You mean like the Beatles, Buddy Holly, Beatles? That's pretty much it.
Sometimes if they're really irritating and they say, "Do you have any music from like 40 years ago?" Like I will go get them like music from like the early 90s or some shit. And like, "Oh yeah, this section." Is like, "What the hell is this?" And like, you said 40 years ago, 2024 now. And like 40 years ago, it was about this. Like, "Oh no, I mean like, do you have any like Conway Twitty?" And like, bro, that was like 60 years ago. Old fuck.
Oh man. Time sucks. That's going to be it. Well, that's already us right now, but.
Yeah, but like we're aware that we do it, and we do it to be annoying.
Yeah,
these people do it because they are annoying. That's the difference.
That's a perfect way to describe it. Yeah, you're right. All right, let's get into In Between Days, the opener, the last song we haven't talked about. What do you have on this one? I
think just like if I could just one sentence this thing and then call it a day, this sums up The Cure perfectly, right? The Cure follow a formula. It follows a path, and it's just like drums and guitar, build up to like a synth part, which drops off and it goes right into Bobby, and like that's what The Cure does. That's what the vast majority of their songs do, right? Close to Me, all their singles, like everything they do really starts the same exact way. Maybe like things are are longer than other parts or shorter or a little bit diverse, but really they follow the same formula over and over and over again. And the opening track of this one, which I do think is a good song, it's not a banger, but I do think it's a good song, follows that formula and sets the tone for the entirety of the record.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel it sets the tone. It has a little bit of the new wave style. It's upbeat. There's the fast acoustic strumming. The pre-chorus is super catchy. Well, actually, the pre-chorus and the chorus are extremely catchy. Some really solid synth stuff. There really is a little bit of everything in here. It's a good song, not a banger, but still a good song. It's spread too thin, which is fine. It's the thesis statement for the entire record. This song, more than any other song on this record, sounds like AFI to me, like later AFI, late stage AFI, I should say. Post Sing the Sorrow is late stage AFI.
I can hear that. I can get with that.
I mean, a ton of it, especially with that pre-chorus. Oh, it sounds like Davey Havok. Really, really sounds like Davey Havok. Not in a bad way. It's just he wants to sound like Bobby.
Yeah.
So.
A lot of pretentious things going on here. Yes,
of course, and we all know how Davey Havok is and has been throughout the years. He gets more and more pretentious and obnoxious as time goes on. So I love AFI, but Davey can be very frustrating. So lyrically on this one, I feel like he's just being moody. He's upset about getting old, which seems like it's like a common thing with him. He's always upset about getting old and aging, which I've never.
Sucks, dude.
I mean, it does suck, but all the bands we've done and all the albums we've done, I've never read lyrics that talk so much about aging and how much it sucks or how afraid he is of aging or the person is afraid of aging. So I don't know.
It kind of is like interesting. I mean, that's what probably like separates artists, right, from just normies and muggles is artists will take these concepts that we just deal with because we're just normal fucking people, and artists will extrapolate the tiniest of details from them and make them into a career. Whereas like the aging thing is like, okay, like when I know Asinine Radio is going to get together for the weekend, I prep, I drink a lot of water, and I eat some salads. And then I know Sunday
Asinine Radio's getting. Wait, what did you say?
When Asinine Radio's getting together in real life, like I know, like I need to prep. I need, you know what I mean? Like I don't complain about it.
Next week.
I know I need to do prep work, and I know Sunday's not going to be fun. I know even fucking Monday's not going to be that great. But like I don't write songs about it and make a career out of it. It's just that's life, dude. I know at some point when I shave my head, it's probably not going to grow back anymore. Like, am I going to comb it over? Am I going to be a hat guy? Like, no, I'm just going to fucking go on my life. I don't care that much. I'm not going to whine about it for 15. How many did they do? 13 albums.
13 albums, yeah.
But again, I think that's what separates normies and muggles from artists.
I guess this is growing up, as Mark Hoppus would say.
You were like on. You got some good ones tonight. You got some good ones tonight.
Oh man, I'm terrible. I am terrible today.
That's
all right,
dude.
So
we did everything.
We did it. We did every song. So let's wrap it up. Give our final thoughts. Rate the record based off of our world famous 3-point rating system, where 3 is a perfect album, 2 is a good album you're going to continue to listen to, 1 is a bad album but give it a shot, and 0 is the worst thing you've ever heard. So what do you got, Jeff? Go.
I also wanted to, real quick too, like before the wrap up, but In Between Days, that was a song that was used in like a Fiat commercial or some shit, and that was after their record label got bought out by UMG, and therefore like the rights to their music got bought out, and they had no say whether or not they could even be in commercials, and Bobby flipped out, and that sucks. Like that. Yeah. I do feel, even whatever, spoiled brat. They're making a lot of money. I do feel for somebody whose art is so against something and then it's using a fucking commercial. That's gross.
Yeah, no.
Fuck that shit.
It is really gross.
And now this whole thing with the TikTok thing that's going on, and it's like, like where do you? And then like now I'm siding with like the big corporation over TikTok. You know what I mean? So it's just what's going on with this world?
Like my view on the whole TikTok thing and UMG taking down all that music. In the end, the artist was regardless, the artist is really not going to make any money off of anything. The only people that are going to make money off of that is going to be UMG. and that's why UMG pulled it, because they are losing money, not being paid. That's what it is. I mean, in the end, the artist is not going to make shit regardless.
Yeah, I mean, like really, we're taking the artist out of this conversation entirely, and it's just
yeah. So I was on TikTok's side when that all went down a few weeks ago, and I think UMG is like the fucking worst. They are
for sure.
They are the fucking worst,
Absolutely.
hands down. So yeah, I was even if you take my hatred toward UMG out, TikTok was still in the right. Because just any record company.
I think I'm on UMG's side. I think I'm on UMG's side.
No,
because they did it strictly They're not paying anybody. Who the fuck is TikTok paying?
But my point is, this is not. I mean, even UMG taking the music off of TikTok is not going to pay the artist. It's not going to give the artist anything more. It's only saving, or it's only giving money or saving money for or benefiting UMG, but not the artist. And that's why I don't give a fuck.
Correct.
UMG only did it out of their own corporate interests.
Absolutely. But leaving it on there, it just it leads to like the perversion of music, whereas like other influencers can now take somebody else's art and make it their own and make a career off of somebody else's music, and that person that they're making a career off of is still not going to get paid. But now somebody who I personally perceive as having zero talent and I have zero interest in watching whatever the fuck you do is going to make money on somebody else's work, and they won't even acknowledge it. At least like UMG will acknowledge, like, yeah, bro, I bought your rights. I paid you well for your rights. I gave you a chance, and you got an advance, and you paid us back, so that's good. But I own your shit. But at least like TikTokers, they don't acknowledge this kind of stuff. They're not donating. They don't do anything. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But I don't like the new generation of influencing. That's what it boils down to.
To counter that, I would say yes. Whatever whatever influencers are making money off of the videos and using that music and whatever, they're making money off that. The artist isn't getting anything. But I know it's kind of fucked up to say, well, it's exposure to that artist, because that has a lot of negative connotations. But in the end, it could introduce a lot of people to that particular artist, that particular song. I mean, that's the positive side of doing that. And because of that exposure, the artist is going to get more recognition. They're going to get more sales, whatever it may be. But having UMG take everything off of TikTok benefits literally nobody, because the artist doesn't get paid more. Because when UMG takes that stuff off, it's not like TikTok or these influencers are going to be paying UMG for those songs, right? Song rights. The songs are just gone, and that's it. And now at that point, all the exposure is gone as well. So it's a lose-lose situation for everybody.
I think in my mind, and this is maybe like,
is that what you think?
In my mind, where I think maybe a little gatekeepy, but I think that in a perfect world, now we eliminate people using other people's music and other people's ideas and art for your own benefit. And now this will be like, in 5 years from now, we'll see an influx of bands, of people wanting to start bands. The people picking up guitars more, people buying guitars more. Like, we see a lot of like Guitar Centers and Sam Ash. These places are going out of business because no one is buying instruments that much. No one is starting bands anymore. That's where we're seeing these massive festivals that are just nostalgia based, and we're not seeing a lot of newer bands coming up. Right, like Turnstile's really the only like huge like punk band. The Turnstiles and Idols. Like the across the entire fucking globe, dude. Turnstiles and Idols, right? That's like they're gonna carry the torch after Blink is dead. Like, really, that's all we have. And I think that's because I think people are looking for like a cheap out that's gonna pay them well for a very, very small percentage of months, maybe a year, and then they're gonna call it a day. Whereas like, we don't want to grind anymore, and not like we ever grinded, but it's like, I want to see more kids starting bands. I want to see more kids playing local shows for $5 and having to pay to play. Like, I want to see more of this, and you just don't see it.
So I kind of disagree with that too, because I feel like there's still a scene. I mean, there are venues that still exist, like small, like Chain Reaction's still around. They still have
almost
a lot
died
of shows,
like 3 times in the past like 10 years.
But I mean, the big time was because of COVID, because of all the bullshit that went on with that. But that had nothing to do with the actual scene because, well, actually, when it comes to the actual like underground scene, like that shit was still happening. Like if you were looking it up here in like California, bands were still playing shows. They were doing it like in warehouses. They were doing it, very like extremely DIY, like very old school DIY, and which is super fucking rad. So I don't think the scene's never gonna die. The scene
will never die,
but it's never gonna be as
dwindled.
popular.
It's dwindled.
Yeah. So what I am most fascinated about, which I've noticed in the last like couple of years since all the COVID stuff has gone down, is the amount of festivals that are happening that are strictly relying on nostalgia acts, whether that's, AC/DC, Metallica, the big metal acts, U2, all that kind of shit. Where are festivals going to be in 15 years when literally members of these bands are going to be dead at that point?
That's all people are going to pay for.
But that's what I'm so curious what's going to happen in 15 years. Are there really going to be festivals that are as massive as like your Coachella, the Europe is a bad example because that shit's always going to be humongous. Yeah, but here in the States,
inclusive and amazing fans, and they treat everybody fairly, and they stick around from the beginning to the end.
But here in the States, I'm curious in 15 years or so how different festivals are going to look because all of the legendary acts, the nostalgia acts are going to be dead, literally dead. Like what's going to replace them? I feel like new metal and like early 2000s are maybe like some of the emo stuff like Blink and My Chemical Romance. My Chemical Romance is a stretch, but those are the last like big, I don't even want to say big rock stars, but
dude,
as big as I feel,
big fucking rock stars. They're selling out stadiums that they play.
Who?
My Chemical Romance, for sure. They're big rock stars. Not
as big as Blink, but they are big. But they're not like. But they're not Metallica. They're not U2 big. They're not like that.
No, they're not that.
Not even
big,
close.
But they're big, dude.
They are.
For a bunch of nobodies playing stupid music, they're fucking big.
But there's no band post 1992, 1994 that meets the standards of like Metallica, U2 level. There's no band, not a single band.
It's because we've been
Green
on
Day,
this
Blink,
downward
nothing.
slide of just like kind of like singer-songwriter, just people making music in their house and putting it out. But that's it. They don't want to tour. They don't want a band. They don't want to grind. They don't want to put out albums. And I think it's even worse now because now people are making, and like I can hear like people come in and they're buying things, and it's to me it's cool because it's like, hey, do you have this is not like specific, but hey, do you have this Bob Seger album that has this song? Like, what the fuck do you want that? Like, who wants that? Oh, I heard it on TikTok. And then like I'll hear it like over and over, like, oh shit, like that's kind of cool. Like you're right, like there's a resurgence for these groups, but then it's like we can't just rely on old stuff because like somebody is dancing on TikTok or somebody's doing a chugging thing on TikTok for an old Bob Seger song. We need like new musicians.
I agree. Yeah.
And we like at Desert Cruise Records in Chandler, Arizona, we really like try to like help the scene. And if people have like bands and they're in, like, dude, bring me whatever you have. Bring me flyers. Put them all on our fucking window, dude. Like I'll tell every single person that comes here, when's your show? I will go to it. And it never happens. It just never happens. And I think that's sad.
It is. Yeah.
And totally. Even us, we were in a band. We did band stuff. We didn't play like shows, but we jammed. We did other things, and like even just like a podcast in general, right? This is still keeping like the scene alive, and not that we're have our ears to the ground and listening for everything that's going on, but at least this is still journalism is in some capacity keeping like the scene alive. And
that's true.
Journalism will always be around if there's something to write about. And that's what we do. This is journalism. We're part of the scene.
Yeah. Wow, that was quite the tangent. Quite the tangent.
Because it's gross to back UMG. It's gross when I say like, oh, I'm on UMG side, because I'm fucking not, dude. Like they're the fucking worst. Ugh.
They really are.
But so is TikTok, dude. So is the entire like concept of just creating 30 seconds of content and hope that you make a bunch of money and become famous and become a model. It's like, what happened just being like a garbage man, dude? What happened just like working like a normal fucking job Dude, I'm gonna get feisty right now, so we better just call it, and that's it. Better just call it.
Yeah. All right, so what are you gonna rate? What are you gonna rate this record? This Cure record?
Oh, this is a. What do we even do? What do we even do here? She doesn't even go here. Oh, this is tough because it's gonna be low. But I'm debating, like, do I give it a 2? But I can't because I'm not going to go back to this. I'm just not. I like Disintegration. I'll go back to that. But I got to do, like, 1.8. I got to do 1.8. I think it was fun listening to how influential this band was, how influential this record was. I get it. I get why a lot of our bands love this era, love this band. But does not make it good. It just doesn't. And there's not a lot here for me. I didn't grow up listening to this music, and so I can't give it a pass on that front. And I don't think anybody here is even that great. Even like Bobby and the bass playing. It's not great. It's just like the first.
Bobby and the bass player.
Bobby and the bass player. That'd be a cool fucking name for a band.
Bobby and the bass player.
Although Bob Weir from the Grateful Dead had a band called Bobby and the Midnights, which is a dope name. So I give this a 1.8. Okay. I give it a 1.8.
Okay.
I'm not going to go back to this in its entirety. I'm just not.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do like some of the songs. I really do think they're great. Like I said, Push, absolute great song. I love that one. Playlisted it. Great song. Top 3 Cure. But yeah, I'm never going to go back to it, and it's not to say it's a bad record because it's not. It's not for me. It's a time and place. I wasn't there. I didn't latch onto this when I was a teenager. It doesn't resonate with me the same way it does for a lot of people. And I feel like you and I agree on that. And I feel like that's fair. It's not awful with zero insight. We're acknowledging, how it actually is. So with that, I'll give this a 1.9 out of 3. Because I will never go back to it, but I'm not opposed to going back to it. But yeah, there you go. That's what I got. 1.9 out of 3. Gotta outdo you there a little bit. So
the aggregate is 1.85.
That is correct. Yes.
That's what this record gets.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars, tell all your friends, keep listening, and yeah, we are throwing it back to the 1960s on the next record. That's a hint, and that this is a request from a listener of the pod. So, that's it. That's all.
Fuck.
Don't.
And nothing.